if we should create a sustainable future, we need to understand that we already harvested planet Earth materials.
I think we have to build in a way like the nature is building things.
Architecture is complex already, so adding an extra layer of sustainability adds yet another complexity.
It's our job to use what we have and create quality, design and architecture out of that.
I think it's really important that we actually take waste and give it some magic, because it has so much potential.
It's a matter of optic, of looking at this pile of things and rethinking what it could be.
We always look at different, you can say, parameters that are important. So is this just a good idea, or can it actually create sort of more systemic change? It's really important to show that they are durable and that they can live up to the standards that are in the built environment.
And that's what we've done for 15 years. Taking these materials and finding out what risk is of reusing or recycling or upcycling a brick, concrete, wood, plastic, textile, all these materials. And I think the projects that makes me most proud is when I come back to them and see that the use of it is exactly what it was thought for. And you can see that at Træ. We are in Træ, which is the world's first high-rise building in wood and upcycled waste materials. One big laboratory for circular economy and biogenic materials. Historically, all high-rise buildings are built out of steel, built out of concrete and a lot of glass. And that's the three components that are emitting the most CO2 that you can imagine in the building sector. So we wanted to reduce that. And in this case, an upfront carbon saving that is positive, that ends up with a 75% CO2 saving compared to a benchmark concrete building. It's very important that we start to decarbonize the construction industry. We stand for 40% of the total CO2 emissions and 30% of the waste production globally. So the responsibility is immense. The whole interior is actually almost 4 acres of wood. But because we have used waste wood for it, you can say in some ways we saved 4 acres of forest. When you work with this type of materials, waste as a resource, it creates a certain aesthetics. And the building is probably a paradigm shift in how we classically have been designing. We accept scars and mistakes in the materials and we use them.
Sourcing recycled materials is interesting.
Where do you get it from? Is it a post-industrial product or is it a waste fraction from a demolisher? And that is a challenge every time.
My name is Søren Channing. I'm the owner and CEO of Channing. We do demolition and we do traditional earthwork. In the demolition work, we demolish buildings, and I've been looking at all these, in my opinion, great materials. We try to take good materials out of the garbage chain so we can reuse them or somebody else can reuse them. This house is an example of reuse. It's an old workshop which we transformed using reused materials. All the materials you see has a history, and all you see is 89% of what you see is reused material. We built a new house, but we put in the soul from day one because we used material. And that's amazing. Everybody told me it can be done, so I wanted to show it can be done. We work pretty close with Lendager because Lendager is using the materials in new buildings, and when we have a demolition site, we always ask Lendager, we have these materials, do you need this, do you need this? Lendager is special because he's the first architect who sees the value in reused materials, and was ahead of his time.
So exactly where we're standing now is in an area called Living Lab. The purpose of the Living Lab, which consists of 3 different floors, is an extra experiment. There was many materials we wanted to use that are not ready to be used in that scale. So here the floors are from 30 years old apartments that are collected, cleaned up and put together again. That becomes the flooring in the whole office here. We also try to do it with even the bathroom and the toilets. The light fixtures, they come from a supermarket chain in Denmark called Netto. So here we are in part of the biolab, and there are 2 interesting materials that I really think is something that are scaling, and I know one of them, which is the acoustic ceiling, it's seaweed. So it's actually fire retardant, and it kind of burns together in the process of drying, which makes it actually rain-tight roof structure. Where we are now is actually where we call it the biogenic floor, and it's actually where we try to push the Living Lab even further, but only focusing on biogenic materials. So in this building we have cork, we have seaweed, we have hemp, we have mycelium. I think looking at biomaterials is just as interesting. And when we look at these types of materials, hemp, bamboo, seagrass, it's biogenic materials that absorb CO2 very quickly and becomes a potential material very quickly. So there's, in many ways, a very big potential of these fast-growing products that has an extremely climate-positive approach, 90% more climate positive than just thinking about fossil fuels, materials like mineral wool, concrete, and so on.
The biggest misconception on the investor side within the built environment is probably that it is too expensive. And that's not exactly true.
If we start to do it more and more and more, we'll find a way so we actually can end up doing it cheaper.
And also, if you look at the product, the building that comes out in the end, that has a value in the market. That is less likely to become a stranded asset. It allows you to rent it out at a higher price than the market median. It allows you to sell it more expensively in a transaction later on, simply because you're making something for the future, not something for today.
The coming generation has a lot of opportunities. There's a paradigm shift, there's an openness to new ways of thinking, and it's up to them to actually look away from the old way of building buildings and adapt all the new ideas, scale them, make them theirs, and push them even further.
Showing that a different way of working is possible. It's challenging everything that we normally do.
It's absolutely possible to make sustainable buildings for the future.